We all have those messages that we say to ourselves that maybe aren't the best messages ever. And how can we quiet that chatter and bring in some of the good, recognizing how we've gotten from where we are and shining a light on those things as well, because we're good at beating ourselves up.
I'm Amy Woodall, and this is The Conscious Habit, a show from the People Forward Network. We're teaching you how to incorporate love and consciousness at work, at home, and the world at large. Conscious Habit listeners, I am like pee my pants excited about this announcement that I have for you today about what's going to be happening on the podcast. We've got something new going down. We're bringing on a co-host to start to do some extra special episodes every single month. I'm still going to be doing the interviews as always. I'll still be bringing you the meditate on this, but we're going to have a third episode every single month with someone who I freaking adore. Deseri Garcia, founder of Vida Aventura, and my posse, co-founder of High Vibe Tribe Retreats, is going to be joining us on the Conscious Habit podcast. Des is here to talk about this new engagement that we have together, what it's going to look like, what y'all can expect. And it's just always fun talking to my sister. So, Des, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this. Welcome to co-host of Conscious Habit podcast. I've never gotten to say that before. It's so freaking exciting.
I love that I get to help you with collaboration.
This is true.
Because that's been like a goal of yours. And I'm also thinking, based upon your intro, that we should probably talk to Depends about being a sponsor, since you wanted to pee your pants.
Let's add that to the notes. Depends may be a sponsor of Conscious Habit podcast in the events. Yeah.
You're a little early on that journey, but yeah, maybe we should consider that. I'm super excited, Amy. I think you once called it our passion work, and it was very well said. Our High Vibe Tribe retreats that really fueled a stronger, deeper connection with you that I've so appreciated. And so to get to do yet another thing alongside you, I could pee my pants too. I'm thrilled about it.
I'm thrilled you said yes. I have to tell you, I know this is often like a natural progression for podcasts is that you bring in partners. You want to be able to expand the mind share. And I'm used to being very independent. And so when this idea was brought to me, at first I was like, I don't know. But then Deseri popped into my mind. And I was like, wait, if it's Des that I can do this with, it's a hell yes. And by the way, y'all, if you did not catch, Des was on the podcast in March. Go back and listen to her episode if you want to get some real flavor. And that whole, if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no. That is a Des-ism that I have adopted in my life. I have so many Des-isms that I carry around. No doubt that I quote you intentionally and unintentionally at least a dozen times a day. And so just the fact the listeners get to learn from you, I'm thrilled. I'm curious, what made you say yes to this? Because my hell yes was like, yeah, I want to hang out with Des. She's smart as shit. She's fun. She's going to make me better. She's going to make the show better. So what was it that had you leaning in?
I've been a fan of your podcast and all the work that you do, Amy. So when you asked, I was like, my antenna's up. This would be interesting. And for many of the same reasons that there's just a connection to the work that both of us do beyond the retreats. And just having another opportunity to collaborate in this way, we both have such a passion for making a difference for others. And so this is, I think, going to be a medium that has just a little bit of a difference than my day-to-day work in that we can bring in more of the woo factor. This is kind of a place where it's like, all right, bring it on. And so that has made such an impact in my life personally that being able to share it on a platform like this is pretty freaking cool. Well, and we'll talk about what woo means if you're not sure.
That's right. You know, I've always said I've put the woo in Woodall, and some people are like, woo. There's an assessment out there that woo is like part of the assessment. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is it Strength Finders?
Yeah, it's Strengths Finders.
Yeah. So people think that I'm meaning Strength Finders. And I'm like, I mean, potentially, I don't know. But I mean, like the kind of out there stuff, like crystals in your underwear kind of stuff. Not really. But don't put it past me.
In your case, crystals in your depends.
That's right. In the depends. When we were like, all right, what could this look like? I mean, we threw around some ideas of how this is going to be set up. And so I'm looking forward to co-interviewing with you some incredible leaders who have these aligned, conscious mindsets. But then we're also going to get to hear from Des. She's going to do some teach content episodes and share her Desisms with us, which I am freaking thrilled for. But Des, for people who don't know you the way that I know you, who maybe haven't caught that episode, will you just share with the listeners a little bit about the work that you do in the world, a little bit about who Deseri is on this planet?
I love the work that I get to do in the world. So I work with teams and individuals. I think for many of us, there's a struggle in trying our best to be the best that we can be, whether it's individually or with teams. So a lot of my work is focused around team development, leadership development, and helping teams collaborating, being cohesive, how to be high performing. It's hard to do. Teamwork has been around for centuries, not easy to put into practice. So I help teams do that as well as individuals so that we can maybe get out of our own way, address those challenges that we have to achieve the things that we want. And so I do that through team development, leadership development, and individual coaching. I do a lot of executive coaching, a lot of leadership development coaching. And then when I'm not doing that work, of course, we're collaborating on our High Vibe Tribe retreats. So it gives us a really more personal approach to working with women. We talk about it as yoga, meditation, mindfulness, breath work. And it ends up being so much more around cultivating and celebrating our wholeness as people.
We started adding in that language of transformation. And that's what you're doing for teams, right? Is that you're going in and you're creating this leadership transformation for how they operate together, how they collaborate, how they rely on each other, and ultimately how they perform together, how everybody gets to rowing in the same direction. And then the work that we're doing on the retreats, and this is true for the work of conscious habit, but the work we're doing on these retreats is like, it's connecting to the being, that beautiful mix of the doing and the being, because we are whole humans, to your mention of wholeness. We are whole humans, being able to bring those things full circle together. Des, how long have you been doing this work? When did you open the company?
April 1st, April Fool's Day of 2006. So 17 years. We'll be recording in April, be 18 years. I realized not that long ago that this is probably the thing in my life that I have now done. By my 18th year, I will have had my business longer than I was in corporate America. So it's officially the thing that I've done longest in my life of anything.
That's a big feat. I wanted the listeners to hear that. Des has been doing this for 17 years, almost 18 years, which is major. Congratulations. I mean, just as a business owner, that's a feat. To make it past the 5-year mark, the 7-year mark, it's a major feat. But so many lessons that you've had in being able to work with incredible leadership teams all around the world. I want to play interviewee here for a moment. So I'm curious, what do you feel like are the attributes of some of the most successful teams you've had a chance to work with?
I do want to back up and make one point as well, Amy, that for anyone that's listening and thinking that, hey, I'm at a certain age and I'm not sure that I could do a pivot. I was 40 when I left corporate America and started my business. And so it's never too late to do that. I also learned to surf that same year. So I love like the inspiring stories of people who it's like, oh, I was 60 and I went back to school, or I did this and that. We're never too old. In terms of what are some of those attributes, high degrees of self-awareness, knowing yourself, which is why much of the work that I do and that we get to do is getting in touch. Suspending, we all have egos, so they aren't going to go away. But if you can be aware of that and suspend that for the greater good, which could include you, it likely does, the greater good of you and how you are being with others. And it's so almost odd to say this. Sometimes I think in our work, it gets transactional And I literally think that sometimes helping people to remember that there's another person on the other side of that transaction. And how do you really want to be treated and how do you want to treat that other person can make a huge difference in how teams work together, how individuals work with others, either it's one-on-one. And even I'll also say that relationship that you have with yourself, because we all have those messages that we say to ourselves that maybe aren't the best messages ever. And how can we quiet that chatter and bring in some of the good, maybe some of the affirmations and recognizing how we've gotten from where we are and shining a light on those things as well, because we're good at beating ourselves up.
Yes, we are. The bitch in the attic is real and she is busy. She's got a full-time job up there. Thank you for sharing that. I think it's helpful to capture because I know so much of the work that you'll be doing on the podcast is helping leadership teams amplify that, to dig in, to be curious. Where are they already successful in that collaboration and how they're rowing that boat together and where there's work to be done. And the admittance that there's work to be done is not admittance that you suck or you aren't good enough. It just means, hey, good to great. There's an opportunity for us to rise above here. Gosh, I can't wait for these episodes to start flying out. Anything else that we can kind of plant in the seeds for listeners of just what to expect or what you're hoping for in this collaboration?
To carry forward the things that you said, I'm excited about bringing some diverse leaders on the show, maybe even some authors. And I know you interview authors already, but with our own twist, and really getting some insights on how do we navigate professional and personal challenges. And how do we get some insights from them on ways that others can really amplify their results and their team's results? That's kind of one facet. The other one would be that you and I, Amy, will get to share stories and experiences and insights, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the great. Because first one to raise my hand, I have plenty of massive failures personally, professionally. Things that I really hoping that I'm learning from. So we'll share those things and what are practices that we have? What are things that we can help others with, like approaches, maybe even motivation, so that, we can all have better, more fulfilling lives.
I love that you're excellent at that through line of no matter what we're doing, there's always a human connected. How you do anything is how you do everything. I think the first time I ever heard that quote was from Des. And so helping you integrate these things and navigate these challenges that are very real. Oftentimes we feel alone in our challenges and we, again, the bitch in the attic, and we beat ourselves up and we think, oh, there must be something wrong with me. But in truth, we're just experiencing our humanness. And to give you insights, keep it real, and advice as to how to navigate those. Des, she's always been that confidant for me for as long as we've known each other. I think it's been 15 or 16 years since you and I initially met.
It has.
How is that possible? Wow. I was in middle school.
I know, right? You're babies.
I wish. Yes, we were babies for sure. I look forward to bringing that. So I think just to the audience, my encouragement, again, go back and listen to Des's episode. You can find it from March of 2023. There's so many incredible Desisms there that we're going to now have 3 episodes every month. One where I'm doing an interview. I'll do the meditate on this. And then one that's Des, where Des joins us. And that could be an interview. It could be Des sharing her insights. It could be us riffing on what's happening in life. But our promise to you is to keep it real, to keep it high love, to keep it high vibe, and to bring as much value to you on your journey on this planet as we possibly can. Des, in the meantime, where can listeners find you? How do they get connected to you?
Probably the best place is LinkedIn. We'll include a link with that episode from March, as well as my LinkedIn profile. The other place would be to go to my website, which is vidaaventura.net. So there's 2 A's, vidaaventura.net. There'll be a link in the show notes. I have a contact page. And if anyone wants to go there and it's like, hey, I'd love to connect for 10 or 15 minutes, whatever that may be, just fill that out and I get those notifications and I'll reach back out.
Awesome. Well, let the magic begin.
Amen. I'm so looking forward to this journey.
Thanks for listening to Conscious Habit, a show from the People Forward Network. If you have questions for me or our guest, or you're looking for more ways to just live or lead more consciously, head over to Facebook. We have a Conscious Habit community there. Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, do the world a favor and go love yourself.